All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go from Motegi. Austin Edwards and Cody the Dominator Burke on the front row. JJ Ringo, Stephen Hoffman on the second row. Ryan Philbrick, Richie Joplin have the third row. Chad Ragsdale, Kirk Marble on the fourth row. Patrick Pieper and Austin Ruskoff round out the top 10. Tyler Thomas starting in 11th next to Bradley James in 12th. Jeremy Davis in 13th. Richie Ragsdale in 14th. Nicholas Johnson in 15th. Dave Mayberry in 16th. Matt Morrison in 17th. Alex Harper in 18th. CJ Jeffries in 19th. And Scott Roney in 20th. Shane Hoffman starting in 21st, next to Joe Lux in 22nd, Jeremy Queener in 23rd, Richard Cragen in 24th, Derek Schilling 25th, Ryan Caldwell in 26th, Mark Kluge, Malachi Martin, Brian Hewitt, and Lynn Marble round out the top 30. Chad Johnson 31st, Ryan McDaniel in 32nd, David Farnan in 33rd, Brandon Anderson in 34th, Gerald Poole 35th, Joshua Rudolph in 36th, Jesse Gordon, Mark Dantuma, Tim St. Jean, Brandon Yates, and John Wyatt round out the field. Hey, good evening, John. Mark Dantuma is concerned about ninjas here tonight, and it does look like Jesse Gordon is going to start from pit road. And he's not alone. Brandon Yates also starting from pit road. Everybody rolls out. Oh, you're right, John. I forgot. 40 car field. For some reason, I was thinking 42 cars. John Wyatt will not grid. The field is locked at 40 cars. 120 laps here. Drivers are looking at 24 to 26 laps on a tank of fuel. They only have 2 additional tire sets, and man, this track is eating up those right front tires here on this 1.5 mile egg-shaped oval. All right, Austin Edwards in control out front. Pace car about to dive in. Pace car is in. And the green flag flies. They are down and away in Motegi. Hey, good evening, Cody. Austin Edwards quickly out front. JJ Ringo to second. Will anybody get loose and have problems coming out of turn 2? We've got a 3-wide battle. Pieper backed out of it. Everybody so far so good. Jesse Gordon, Brandon Yates, both coming off pit road. 3 wide mid-pack as they go into 3. Wow, things already getting sketchy here on lap 1. A few guys kissed the wall. And Austin Edwards leads lap 1. Looking back and oh, we've got one loose down on the bottom. Looks like it was Chad Ragsdale. Ragsdale got loose out of turn 2, but got it wound up before he hit anything. Looking back through the pack, some of these 2 wide and 3 wide battles starting to settle down. These guys have 5 to 6 good fast laps before the tires start to wear. And the lap times start to slow down, and that's when we're going to see who's been taking care of the car the best. And turn 3 is going to be where a lot of decisions are made here tonight. You can drive in there deep, make a move, but you can eat the tires and slide up the track. Stephen Hoffman just set the fastest lap so far, back and forth. JJ Ringo slipped back into third, the Dominator back into second. The GOAT still has the lead. Everybody so far, they are 3 wide coming out of 4. Settling back into 2 wide for the moment. Drivers start to peak to the inside on turn 3, and you can always tell who went a little too hard. They'll be drifting up, coming out to 3 and 4. Oh, one's bouncing off the wall back behind. I think it may have been Jeremy Queener, as Jesse Gordon, who started from pit road, has the fastest lap so far. He is back in 39th and really needs a caution. Jesse, one of the fastest guys out here, but starting from pit road was a huge setback. Bradley James saw it peaking low on Pieper a minute ago as they come through 1 and 2. Couldn't get the run into turn 1. Surprisingly, we've seen one car get big loose coming out of turn 2. Nicholas Johnson already up 3 spots into 12. Matt Morris up 3 spots into 14th. But Scott Roney up 5 spots now into 15th. David Farnan really on the move, up 7 spots into 26th. And Mark the Man Dantuma up 9 spots into 29th. Austin Edwards, Cody Burke, Steve Hoffman, JJ Ringo, all there single file. Richie Joplin, Ryan Philbrick battling back behind. And it looks like all the good laps are just about gone on this set of tires. And these guys are just into conservation mode at the moment, as the leaders are already into lap traffic. Brandon Yates started from pit road, as well as Jesse Gordon. And he may end up losing a lap here in just a second. Brandon moves to the high side, lets the leaders get by. He will be in the lucky dog position if we get a caution. Outside the top 10, everybody's still fighting for position. Scott Roney now up into 15th, trying to fight his way forward in the 023 car. Dave Mayberry back in the fight as well. Ryan Caldwell lurking right behind this group. Caldwell's one of the guys You watch on a long run, he'll start moving forward. Another one who moves forward throughout the run, Mark Dantuma now 10 spots into 28. Mark ever decides to start qualifying again, he could very well get up in the fight for the win. Stephen Hoffman has now moved into third, JJ Ringo back to fourth. Bradley James has cracked into the top 10 in 10th. Austin Ruskoff currently in 9th. Patrick Pieper still holding on to 8th. Kirk Marble in 7th. Ryan Philbrick currently in 6th. Richie Joplin in 5th. JJ Ringo in 4th. Stephen Hoffman in 3rd. The Dominator sitting in 2nd. Right on the GOAT's back bumper. And Tim St. Jean, Ryan McDaniel have had a problem behind. No caution yet. Does not look like we're going to get the caution on this one. Let's see what happened. All right, looking down at Tim St. Jean from the chopper. Looks like heading off into turn 3. Oh, Ryan comes up as Tim comes down. They meet in the middle. Tim barely keeps it out of the wall. Ryan goes for a drive through the grass, but keeps it out of the wall as well. The top 2 starting to open up a gap on Stephen Hoffman in 3rd. JJ Ringo has slid back to 4th. Richie Joplin now to his bumper. Bradley James still lurking back in 10th. Has closed the gap on Ruskoff as Ruskoff gets closer to Pieper. Oh, big wreck in the middle of turn 3. The caution is out. Matt Morrison involved. Joe Lux, Chad Johnson also caught up. And Matt Morrison is towed it to pit road. The 2 drivers that started from pit road, this is going to be a huge help. Let's see what happened. All right, here they come. Off into turn 3, a bump ahead. Matt gets a bump, slams the outside wall. Bounces down, and Ryan Caldwell, several others pile in. A few guys on the brakes get loose, but wow. Take a look at this from another angle right quick. There's that fight behind. Morrison just gets a bump and slams the outside wall. When he comes down, gets yeeted into the air and tows it in. Well, our first caution of the night. Remember, they only have 2 additional sets of tires tonight. So likely not going to see tire changes here, but could see a lot of guys come in to top off on fuel. And yes, indeed, we may get the whole field here. Brandon Yates is getting the wave around. as Austin Edwards leads them down. And it does look like fuel only for everybody. Tim St. Jean also staying out. That'll put him up at the front. Cody, this is definitely a tricky track, buddy. I guess you could say I have a love-hate relationship with this track as well. Really don't care for driving it, but I do love broadcasting it. And Tim is down on the apron. Looks like he is going to come in, which will cycle the lead back to Austin Edwards. And Tim St. Jean picks up a black flag on the way in. Brandon Yates, Jesse Gordon, both back on the lead lap and into the fight. Well, Cody, you ever get the chance? The road course here is a blast. And speaking of blast, what do you say we get a little bit loud? Blast those speakers. When the green flag drops, I'm going to shut up, let you guys crank it. We've had a problem under caution. Back behind, something with Jeremy Davis. He has towed it in. All right, pace car drops in. Here we go. The green flag flies. Crank it up, y'all. Loud in Motegi tonight. And we did see a bit of four-wide battling back behind, but let's see what happened to Jeremy Davis under caution. See if we can dial up the chopper and see what happened. Everybody stacking up for the restart. And Jeremy's car just turns left. That is likely a technical issue. And that has sent Jeremy to pit road. We'll see if he comes back out, but man, that has to hurt as we've got to fight for the lead. Austin the Goat Edwards and Cody the Dominator Burke. We saw this all week last week at New Hampshire. We saw it in the C1287s Wednesday night. Cody, that very well could be right. The wheel could very well have disconnected. That does happen, unfortunately, a bit too often. Patrick Pieper trying to make it 3 wide into turn 3. Everybody settles back in. Ryan Caldwell gets on Pieper's bumper, hoping to follow him through. Jeremy Queener starting to make some ground up here as well. Jesse Gordon, after starting from pit road, is up to 19th of 18 spots. He is definitely making some ground up here. Jesse and Richie practically leaning on each other into turn 3. Richie lost a lot of time on pit road. Looks like he was in for an extended stop. Austin Edwards still holds the lead. Burke on his bumper. Stephen Hoffman not far behind. JJ Ringo and now Kirk Marble round out the top 5. Bradley James in 6. Ryan Philbrick 7. Nicholas Johnson in 8. CJ Jeffries has made his way up 10 spots into 9th. And Jeremy Queener. Joe Lux has had a problem. The caution is out. Our second caution of the night, likely to see everybody top off on fuel again. Let's see what happened to Joe. There's Joe in the 04 as they head off into turn 3. Oh, he got loose on the high side. Wow. A hard hit into the wall. Everybody else somehow survives it, but watch this from the chopper. You're going to see a lot of guys slam the brakes on and drift underneath. There he was, bounces off. The car ahead also slides up. And there's 1 drift. 2 drift. Oh, it looks like it was only 2. Hey, good evening, Tina. How are you? That shakes up the second half, or the second part of the field again. But now the question is, how many come in? Jeremy Davis did come off pit road just before the caution. He had been there for quite a while. And looks like the top 4 stay out. A few close calls coming to pit road. But the vast majority are coming in to top off. Austin Edwards, Cody Burke, Stephen Hoffman, JJ Ringo, Ryan Philbrick, Jesse Gordon, and Jeremy Queener all stay out. Everybody else coming in. A little bit early to put that fresh set of tires on. Looks like the vast majority of the field took fuel only, several taking repairs. Oh, Tina, are you up now? I hope. I'm assuming you're up because you're chatting with me, but if not, let me know. Get Ryan and let him know. All right, 1 to green. Everybody stacking up. Oh, good deal, Tina. Glad everything's okay, but man, keep your phone in your pocket. And charged. All right, lights are out. Everybody stacks back up. A lot of the drivers predicted a 5 wide at some point tonight. We've only seen 4 wide. Will this be the restart where they do it? Pace car dives in. The green flag flies again. They are back underway. And already trying to get 3 wide into turn 1. They shuffle down to 2 wide for the moment as we've got a battle on for second. Steven and Hoffman peeking underneath Cody Burke. Couldn't quite complete the pass that time. Meanwhile, they're 3 wide on the backstretch. Richie Ragsdale, bow! Caution is out. We've got a couple of cars in the wall. Jeremy Queener, Austin Roscoff, Mark Dantuma, Richard Cragen, Malachi Martineau involved. Wow. Maybe they were trying to go 5 wide. Let's find out. Taking a look down from the chopper. They're 3 wide up ahead, but the bump, Mark Dantuma gets a bump, comes down, clips Cragen, and sends Cragen to the wall. Looks like Richie Joplin gets into the back bumper of his teammate, Mark Dantuma, just a little tap. Dantuma sideways, gets hit a couple of times. Hey, good evening, Smooth Imperial. How are you, buddy? Cody Burke and JJ Ringo coming in. Austin Edwards stays out. Back behind, Derek Schilling, Mark Kluge, David Farnett, Gerald Poole, Joshua Rudolph, Brandon Anderson, Austin Roscoff, Mark Dantuma, Brandon Yates all in. Joe Lux is in, still heavily damaged. Cody, you're absolutely right. This track, man, if they hit, especially into the turns on entry, they're going to hit that outside wall like a ton of bricks. Smooth Imperial, how's the weather in the Big Apple tonight, buddy? Austin Edwards now out front, the Dominator back in 25th. Coming in tonight, Austin Edwards does lead the points over Nicholas Johnson. Cody Burke currently third in points. And weirdly, Cody Burke, we're third race this season. Burke has not won yet. All right, lights are out. Everybody stacked back up. The track was very hot in practice. There's no cloud cover whatsoever. The earlier practice sessions these drivers had, the track was a bit cooler. It is starting to cool down now. Those cooler temps will mean higher speeds and a bit more grip. All right, Austin Edwards in control on the restart. Stephen Hoffman alongside. Here they go. Green flag back in the air. Everybody sending it down, braking as late as is possible into turn one. JJ Ringo making a move up top. Tim St. Jean starting to get back up in the fight. Tim now back up into 24th. And seeing a lot of bobbling going into turn three. The biggest concern the drivers had tonight was entry into turn three, getting that braking point just right. There's not a lot of indicators going into turn three to help you figure out where your braking point is. Definitely makes things a bit harder here. And man, is it a mess back in the mid-pack. Oh, we've got a bobble. JJ Ringo just slid up the track. But he has a really good seat for a lap on board. JJ crosses the start-finish line right behind Richie Joplin. Sends it off into 1 and 2, and you can see these guys spreading out multiple groups through 1 and 2, through 3 and 4. No, we've got one spinning. Down the back straightaway, Ringo sends it into 3 on the bottom. Brian Hewitt in trouble behind. Richie Joplin has had a problem. And out of turn 4, Ringo comes back across the line. He did that lap in 38.34. And you can definitely see JJ on the attack. Let's see what happened to Brian Hewitt and Richie Joplin. All right, looking down from the chopper, Hewitt pushes up, he's a little loose, gets a tap from behind, kisses the inside wall, almost has it saved, smacks it a moment later. Then, just a few seconds after that, setting up into turn 3, Richie sends it in too deep, pushes up, and slams the wall hard. Brian Hewitt already headed back out on track. Richie Joplin will be back out in a moment, I'm sure. Austin still has the lead, but now starting to see some guys make up some ground, including the guy in third place, Jesse Gordon, who started on pit road. Well, you know he had to be nervous that first 10 or 15 laps when the caution didn't fly, that his strategy may have just bit him, but it has definitely paid off. The Dominator now back up into 15th, but keep in mind, Austin Edwards did not come in under the last two cautions. He is getting close to the end of his fuel window. Driver said 24 to 26 laps on a tank of fuel tonight. Austin was last in lap 17. Those pace laps will extend that a bit. But in the next 10 laps, the GOAT will be in. CJ Jeffries on the move up into 9th. Ryan Caldwell up 15 spots into 11th. Chad Johnson up 18 spots into 13th. Alex Harper up to 14th. Jeremy Queener up 7 spots into 16th. Mark Dantuma, despite getting caught in that earlier caution, up to 23rd. Tim St. Jean got caught up early. He is now up to 25th. Austin is starting to open up a window. A little bit of breathing room behind. Whoa! Jeremy Queener was a bit loose out of 4. Most of the drivers were concerned about getting loose into turn 2, and that is where we have seen a lot of problems. But Queener, man, he was big loose out of turn 4. Now remember, the majority of this field have not taken any tires yet. They only had 2 additional tire sets for tonight, trying to make them last as long as possible. Next pit stops, though, likely to see 4 fresh Goodyears on everybody, as Jesse Gordon battles for second, and he's going to take it. And Bradley James got a big loose out of 4. And these tires starting to wear. And these cars are getting much harder to hold on to. Have a great night, Richie. Don't give up, buddy. Ryan Caldwell, see you, buddy. Ryan Caldwell now up 15 spots into 11th, right on Richie Ragsdale's bumper. And Cody Burke now up into 12th and closing. Cody at the moment is the fastest car on track. Austin, meanwhile, has started to pull away. He's got a 1.1 second lead on Jesse Gordon. But Jesse is on the attack. A lot of moves coming out of turn 4. You see the guy ahead getting loose as you're coming through 3 and 4. You can set up a little bit lower on exit. You might be able to shoot by, pick up a spot. And Austin Edwards is coming in. Stephen Hoffman is in behind him. This is likely to be 4 tires and fuel for both drivers. This is going to get them both set back, but with those fresh tires, likely going to see them march their way back forward. And Austin is fuel only. He's on his way out. Jesse Gordon will lead for caution. The caution is out. Austin Edwards, Stephen Hoffman will maintain the lead lap. Hoffman may not. Now it looks like Stephen Hoffman will hold on to the lead lap. Jesse Gordon out front. Patrick Pieper involved. Let's see what happened with Pieper. All right, looking down from the chopper, looks like Pieper alongside Nicholas Johnson drives down. He pushes up into Nicholas. They get together a couple of times, then gets into Caldwell. And wow, a lot of close calls there. And no surprise, everybody is in. Almost everybody. Derek Schilling is staying out. Austin Edwards, Stephen Hoffman are both coming out as well. Excuse me, I misspoke. Austin and Stephen Hoffman did not come in. They had just come off pit road. And a lot of these guys behind took fuel only. However, Jesse Gordon, Kirk Marble, Ryan Philbrick, CJ Jeffries, Richie Ragsdale, the back half of the field took tires. The top 5 did not. Will Derek Schilling duck in here? He has led a lap, picked up some points. No, he is going to stay out. All right, lights are out on the pace car. Drivers stack back up. Derek Schilling, Austin Edwards, Stephen Hoffman, Bradley James, Cody Burke, your top 5. Kirk Marble, Jesse Gordon, CJ Jeffries, Ryan Philbrick, and Richie Ragsdale, your top 10. Mark Dantuman out 27 spots into 11th. At the moment, Dantuma the biggest mover of the race. we go. Pace car dives in. And the green flag flies again. They are back underway. And about half the field on fresh tires. We're about to see just how big a difference fresh tires make. Austin Edwards battling with Derek Schilling for the lead. Stephen Hoffman trying to slip in on the bottom. Whoa, we've got a wreck out of 2. No caution. Cody Burke goes into 3 wide, clears. And Chad Johnson involved in the incident out of turn 2. All right, there's Chad in the yellow and blue car up top. Old tires, and you see it bobble mid-turn. Brakes completely loose. Hard hit to the inside. And this track is so wide, so many lanes. If you get loose or lose the car at all, and you go to the wall, it's going to be a big hit. We've got a bit of a battle going on back behind. Jesse Gordon looks like Kirk Marble, Stephen Hoffman involved, 3 wide out of 2. Kirk on the bottom, Jesse now up top. Kirk and Jesse both on fresh tires. Derek Schilling still holds on to second, but the GOAT is out front. And the Dominator now been third. The Dominator has a bunch of fresh tires right on his bumper. Kirk Marble, Jesse Gordon, Stephen Hoffman, C.J. Jeffries, Brian Philbrick, Richie Ragsdale, Nicholas Johnson. Whoa! J.J. went deep into 3. Caught a little bit of the apron, slides up but saves it. Ryan McDaniel has had a problem. All right, there's Ryan up top. Coming out of turn 2. We've seen this a lot tonight. Loose out of 2, but just kisses the wall. JJ way up the track. As the fight is on. Oh! We've got one spinning out of the turn. Caution. Looks like Bradley James involved coming out of turn 4. All right, looking down from the chopper. Bradley James in a battle as they go off into 3 and 4. He lost a ton of momentum, gets a bump from behind. Looks like he was on old tires then. Finally just gets helped around. Yeah, it does look like Bradley had not put fresh Goodyears on yet. Now the question is, the guys that did not take tires yet, is this the moment where they come in and get 4 fresh Goodyears? I expect we'll see a lot of folks in for fuel. Austin Edwards is going to stay out. CJ Jeffries, Steve Hoffman, Cody Burke, Kirk Marble, Derek Schilling in. Now, CJ stayed out, as did Jesse Gordon, Ryan Philbrick, Richie Ragsdale. Now remember, the Dominator has not put on fresh rubber yet. And he's getting fuel only again. He and Austin Edwards are saving those extra tires. That may come in handy late in this one. Let's see if we can get a quick word with one of the biggest movers in the field, Tim St. Jean. Hey, Tim, it's Doug. You got me, buddy?
Yeah, I got you, buddy.
Man, a heck of a run so far, up 29 spots, just 9 more to go.
Yeah, just trying to keep my nose clean, and hopefully I can make it through here and try to get up front somewhere.
Man, it has been eventful for you tonight, but you've managed to keep that car, for the most part, out of trouble and clean. A great run so far. How do you feel about moving up through this group?
It's a pretty good group, actually. I kind of like it here. It's a bit of work to get through it, but yeah, I just got to keep focused on what's ahead of me and avoid whatever I can.
Well, man, great job so far. Heck of a run, buddy. Good luck.
Thanks, Jug.
Tim St. Jean currently sits in 10th at the moment, one of the biggest movers. The bigger mover, though, Jesse Gordon, up 34 spots into 3rd. Now remember, our leader, Austin Edwards, has not taken tires yet. Nor has the Dominator, Cody Burke, sitting back in 13th. And the vast majority of the field, the rest of them have taken fuel and tires. So buckle up, folks. This is liable to get eventful. And JJ Ringo has been handy. Let's dial up his in-car on the restart. You ever wondered what a NASCAR restart felt like? Hold on. Heading down into turn 1, and you see ahead of him, they're trying to get 3 and 4 wide through 1 and 2. On the power, out of turn 2, and you see a couple of them bobbling, getting a little bit loose. Sending it deep into turn 3, up top. Having to really work that wheel to get it to come around 3 and 4. Back on the power. And on the move. And JJ is on the move. Already back up into 13. And Jesse Gordon is taking the lead. A lot of fresh tires throughout the field, but several cars that have not taken any yet, including second place Austin Edwards. That is a gutsy call this late in the race. Jesse just set the fastest lap of the race so far, 37.33. And he's starting to pull a bit of a gap on CJ Jeffries. Ryan Philbrick now up into 4th. Richie Ragsdale having a heck of a run at 5th. Richie Ragsdale, another one. I expect to see him victory lane at some point this season. He has been getting faster week in and week out. The Dominator still has not changed tires either, but he is up to 9th and moving forward. Kirk Marble looking underneath. And Kirk on fresher tires just shoots by. JJ Ringo also on the move, now up into 11. Jesse Gordon has a half-second lead over C.J. Jeffries. Austin still holds on to 3rd. Philbrick in 4th. Richie Ragsdale in 5th. Patrick Pieper, who had a rough incident earlier, now up to 14th. Jeremy Queener had a rough start to this one, now up into 15th. Mark Dantuman 18th, Tim St. Jean at 17th. Derek Schilling has had a problem. And the caution will fly. Looks like a second incident involving Jeremy Queener and Austin Ruskoff as well. Let's take a look. All right, here they come. There is Derek. Coming down the back straightaway toward turn 3. Pushes up the track a little bit, coming through 3 and 4. And big loose out of 4 to the inside wall. Then just a few moments later, Austin Ruskoff, he gets a tap from below and slams the outside wall. And gets hit by Queener. Queener has 0 luck tonight. Now, will we see the drivers on those old tires come in? Everybody's coming in. Now the question is, do Austin Ruskoff and Cody Burke take tires, or do they keep stretching it? "65 laps on this set. They are well over halfway. It is a good time to take on 4 fresh Goodyears. They hit their pit stall. Austin is up. Cody is up. So they will take tires. Malachi Martin stays out and takes the lead. And let's see, I believe Austin Ruskoff is out of the infield care center. Let's see how he's feeling. Austin just out of the infield care center. That was a couple of very hard hits. How are you feeling?
We're a little sore after that one. I think that pretty much ended our night there.
It was definitely one heck of a hit. The first one up to the wall, but then you slid back down, and wow, that second hit sent you airborne for a moment.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was such a hard hit into the wall. I just came down the track, and I was on the brakes trying to hold it, and there's nowhere for Pat or any of those guys to go, so it's just unfortunate.
It was a great run, but sadly it's over. Man, sorry to see it. Great job tonight.
Thank you.
You know, Austin has always sounds like he's in a good mood regardless of what has happened. Got to give him credit for that one. Malachi Martin, Jesse Gordon now have the front row. Malachi up 27 spots, Jesse up 35, CJ Jeffries up 16th, Kirk Marble just up a measly 4. Ryan Philbrick in 5th is right where he started. Cody Burke in 13th, Austin Edwards in 14th. Both drivers on fresh tires. It'll be a race to the front for those two. Although, given the front row right now, those two may get to the front. I don't know if they can get by Malachi and Jesse. And here we go, the green flag flies again. Jesse got the better start. Malachi drops low. Looks like Malachi may have had a problem off the start, may have been in the wrong gear. Jesse quickly reclaims the lead, pulling away. CJ in second, Malachi still fading. It looks like Malachi is on old tires. And JJ Ringo way up the track. Whoa, we've got a wreck out of turn 4. The caution is out. Steve Hoffman, Mark Kluge, and Chad Johnson all involved. Looking down from the chopper, Stephen Hoffman, as they come through 3 and 4, sliding up, gets spun around, and the cars behind just can't avoid him. And man, Hoffman had one heck of a rough ride. Mark Kluge, one of the drivers back behind that couldn't avoid it. Market almost avoided it, gets clipped by a car coming to pit road. Stephen Hoffman, Patrick Pieper, Derek Schilling already in. Jesse Gordon continuing to lead, followed by CJ Jeffries, Kirk Marble, Ryan Philbrick, JJ Ringo, Stephen Hoffman, Malachi Martin, Richie Ragsdale, Scott Roney, and Mark Dantuma round out the top 10. Now, Kirk Marble faked to pit road, didn't go in. Austin Edwards, Cody Burke, still 12th and 13th. CJ is driving on the apron, already working on conserving fuel. All right, everybody that topped off on fuel on their way back out. Still several cars on pit road getting repairs. You see the smoke billowing out of Rilskov's car. Jesse Gordon leading this thing. No surprise, he was in contention for the championship all last season. Probably would have won the championship, but sadly he drives a Ford and just lacked the power. All right, lights go out. Everybody lines back up. Still, right around 30 cars on the lead lap. Jesse Gordon leads them through 3 and 4. All right, pace car dives in. Here we go. The green flag flies again. Jesse quickly away. Kirk Marble looking under CJ. And 3 wide through 1 and 2. Lynn Marble up 11 spots now into 19th on the attack. Ryan McDaniel up 14 spots, 4 wide. Wow, one of them wise enough to back out. Ryan currently in 19th. Everybody survives the exit of turn 4. There were multiple side-by-side battles going into turn 3. And a couple of 3 and 4 wides as Mark Dantuma battles with the Dominator. Austin currently sits in 8th. And Jesse trying to get away as quickly as possible. A lot of battles going on mid-pack. Richie Ragsdale now in 5th. But Stephen Hoffman underneath starting to make his way back to the front. JJ Ringo back up into 3rd now. As Cody Burke into 7th, Austin into 6th. Ryan McDaniel is in a problem. He has towed it in. There's Ryan on the high side through 3 and 4. Gets loose, smacks the wall. Hits the inside wall, and you saw the engine let go. Ouch. Kirk Marble now up into 2nd, running Jesse down. JJ in 3rd, trying to hold on, but CJ still fighting. And here comes the GOAT, Austin Edwards, the Dominator on his bumper. "40 laps and one more pit stop to go for everybody in the field." Jesse Gordon and Kirk Marble have pulled out a 1.3 second lead on JJ. As here comes Austin. Brian Hewitt has had a problem behind. And the caution is out. Tim St. Jean has had a problem. Let's see what happened. All right, looking at Brian Hewitt. Oh, Hewitt, big loose out of turn 2. He tries to save it. Almost had it. Does get it stopped. Keeps it out of the wall. Then just a few seconds later, Tim St. Jean sends it off into turn 3. Oh, the car behind gets a better run right into his bumper. And he gives the outside wall a little kiss. Jesse's gonna, nope. A lot of drivers faking to pit road. Smooth Imperial, trust me, in the car, it does not feel like long. The top 6 staying out. A few drivers back behind also taking advantage. But a lot of the field is it. Brian Hewitt staying out. Likely a very good call for Hewitt after that incident to make up some track position. Well, Smooth Imperial, I can promise you the final 20 laps, it's going to get really wild. Jesse Gordon in the lead, Kirk Marble in second, Austin the GOAT Edwards in third, Cody the Dominator Burke in fourth, Stephen Hoffman in fifth. Jesse Gordon, Kirk Marble, Cody Burke, all championship contenders last season, with the Dominator coming on top after 20 some odd wins. And remember, the Cody Burke rule is in effect again this season. If a driver gets 5 wins, they still have to qualify to make the field, but before the green flag drops, they get sent to the tail. And as we saw last season, that does not seem to bother some drivers. Cody Burke won over 15 races from the tail end of the field. All right, here we go. Out of turn 4. Pace car dives in. And the green flag flies again. Kirk Marble staying dead even with Jesse Gordon into turn one. Kirk gets the nose ahead. Jesse gets the better run through 1 and 2 now. Austin Edwards looks under Kirk. And Austin Edwards to second as Burke starts looking for third. Matt Morrison now on the move back up into the top 10 and 7 as they're coming out of turn 4 3 wide. Austin Edwards takes the lead back. Cody Burke in second, Jesse in third. Oh, Kirk kisses the wall into 2. He has lost some ground. And just a little tap into the wall, a corner exit, costs you all that momentum you carry out of the turn. And the guys behind can capitalize. Oh, JJ sideways. CJ Jeffries around the caution is out. Let's take a look at this one. All right, looking down from the chopper as they come through 3 and 4. JJ there in the middle. Gets loose, clips the car below. Car behind gets into him. Nicholas Johnson gets turned as well. Looking at CJ Jeffries, also catching a piece of CJ, the one that JJ turned into. And wow, somebody just barely shot the gap. Several close calls in that one. Couple of drivers fake it to pit road. Brian Hewitt is the first one in. Nobody is within the fuel window yet. Most of the drivers looking between lap 94 and 96. Once we hit about lap 96, everybody should be able to go the distance. But these guys topping off right now. A few cautions could make all the difference in the world. Shane Hoffman getting the lucky dog, getting one of his laps back. JJ Ringo still sitting on pit road getting repairs. We'll see. Hopefully he can get back out. Several cars still sitting on pit road as the pace car comes through 3 and 4. It's going to be a close call for some of these guys to hold on to the lead lap. Everybody on their way back out. Just trying to beat the pace car. as the lights go back out and they stack back up. Tim St. Jean didn't make it out in time. He gets stuck. He loses a lap. All right, here they come out of turn 2. Austin Edwards will be in control on the restart. And the Dominator is on the high side. Pace car dives to pit road into the restart zone. The green flag flies again. Austin gets the better jump on the restart, pulling ahead. Jesse tries to set up under Cody, can't get there. Stephen Hoffman on the high side trying to pull back up into third. As everybody back behind, moving for a position. Richie Ragsdale on the move on the bottom. 3 wide through 3 and 4. Richie Ragsdale now is Chad Ragsdale on the bumper. The top 4 still single file. Ryan Philbrick in 5th. Jeremy Queener now just outside the top 10 and 11. Dave Mayberry up to 12th. And the caution is back out. I'm looking around trying to figure out what the caution is for. All right, looking at Gerald Poole in the 9 car, the red and black car on the high side. See if we can see what this caution was for. They head back off into 1 and 2. Whoa, Gerald may got a little bump there in turn 2, but J.J. Ringo, Nicholas Johnson get together just ahead. Richie Ragsdale stays out, as does Brian Hewitt, Nicholas Johnson. Mark D'Antuma also staying out. Everybody else is in. Austin Edwards taking on tires. And Cody Burke was fuel only. Edwards only took right sides. Well, this will shake things up yet again. Richie Ragsdale has been on the attack all night long, now up front. Brian Hewitt currently sits in second. Man, he is at a wild night. Spinning, getting caught up, but he's still in the fight. Now in second. JJ Ringo bounced off Nicholas Johnson coming out of turn 2 a moment ago. Great save by Nicholas. Mark Dantuma now at 34 spots into 4th. And they are just about 3 laps shy of being able to make it on fuel. Some of the guys who topped off this time might actually be able to stretch it. David Farnan now in 8th. Brandon Yates, who started from pit road in 9th. Jesse Gordon back in 10th. It is still very much anybody's race. 30 cars still on the lead lap, and anything can happen. All right, pace car dives in. And the green flag flies again. Ragsdale is away. Nicholas Johnson looking underneath Brian Hewitt for second. As the battle is on, back behind. Richie Ragsdale, his first time leading this season, trying to open up that gap on Nicholas. Hewitt now slipping back, Burke to 3rd. Austin Edwards right on Burke's back bumper. And a few people kissed the wall at a turn 4 that time. Everybody still facing the right way, going at it. Nicholas Johnson with a little high coming out of 2, opened the door for Burke. Austin Edwards going to follow him through. Brian Hewitt overshot his braking point into turn 3. Managed to keep it out of the wall, but barely. And Cody Burke is going for the lead underneath Richie Ragsdale. Stephen Hoffman in that lead pack as well. Ragsdale trying to hold on to 3rd. The caution is out. Scott Roney and Matt Morrison involved. And everybody is within the fuel window. So we could be seeing final pit stops this time. All right, looking down at Roney from the blimp. Oh no, it got loose at a 2 again, but smacked into Morrison. And ouch. There you see Morrison, after he gets the bump from Roney, slides back up. He collected Ringo and spun back to the inside. Those two took one heck of a hit. Matt Morrison, Ryan McDaniel both had to tow it in. A heartbreak for Ryan. He had been in the top 20 all night. Lynn Marble apparently was one of the drivers that caught a piece. And he has got significant damage, and a lot of the field is coming in for their final stop. Austin Edwards stays out, Stephen Hoffman, Jesse Gordon, David Farnan, Ryan Philbrick, Jeremy Queener, Chad Johnson, Brandon Yates, and Joshua Rudolph all staying out. And it does look like Burke took his final set of tires. Folks, don't forget, tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, more short track racing as World Class Short Track Series is back with a doubleheader. Tuesday night, the Unicorn will be mafia-ing it up. And Wednesday night, C12 Motorsports 87s are back. And Thursday night, On Motorsports winter season comes to a close. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and YouTube. We put out 10 to 12 YouTube shorts every day. And definitely put out some funny ones today. Go check them out. All right, lights are out on the pace car. They will stack up for the restart. Austin Edwards out front, Stephen Hoffman alongside. David Farnan now up in the top 5 next to Jesse Gordon. Farnan's had a quiet night, but made his way up here when it counted. Jeremy Queener, Ryan Philbrick, Brandon Yates, Chad Johnson, Chad Ragsdale, Joshua Rudolph round out the top 10. Pace car dives in once again. And the green flag flies. 20 laps to go. Oh! Caution is out on the restart. Big pile up. Wow, something went horribly wrong on that restart. Let's see if we can figure it out. All right, looking down from the chopper. Oh, the outside line doesn't get going in accordions. And a lot of cars pile in, including a few drivers. Looked like a few of the drivers did hit their incident limits. And watch that outside line accordions. You see one car get bumped up into the air. And a couple of drivers just disappeared due to hitting the incident limit. Carnage is definitely a good word for it. And as the sun goes down, it does look like some fog is settling in. 95% humidity, track temp now down to 72, air temp down to 67. It's starting to cool off, and with that humidity comes a bit of fog. Several cars did duck in for repairs. Len Marble, Patrick Pieper, Tyler Thomas, Richie Ragsdale, Shane Hoffman, Malachi Martin, and Mark Dantuma. Hey, good evening, Corey. Corey, only Pudge does that. He'll be back Wednesday night, buddy. I won't even pretend to be as good at it as him. All right, lights are back out. We're going to have just over 15 to go when the green flag drops. Everybody stacked back up. Still quite a few cars on the lead lap. Looks like 27 cars on the lead lap. Nicholas Johnson was the driver that hit the incident limit in that accident. Austin the Goat Edwards up front. Cody the Dominator Burke in 12th, but on 4 fresh tires. And a whole lot of fast cars between them as well. And the green flag flies again. Austin clears immediately as they head off into turn 1. Stephen Hoffman, Jesse Gordon battle for second. Ryan Philbrick, David Farnan battling back behind for 4th. Jesse Gordon now, caution is back out. And it looks like Chad Ragsdale involved as well as Tim St. Jean. Looks like Kirk Marble got a piece of it as well. And Chad Ragsdale has towed it in. Taking a look down from the chopper. Big runs coming out of turn 2 down the back straightaway. Ragsdale sets up mid-track into 3. The car underneath just pushes into him. He gets bumped again, and wow, what a hit. That chain reaction back behind caught Tim St. Jean. There's the stack up. Tim had nowhere to go, ended up underneath Kirk Marble. Hey, good evening, Reap. Glad you're having a good weekend and best of luck. At turn 4, actually the entry into turn 3 has been the wildest tonight. Guys just overshooting their braking points and chaos. Turn 2 has been a bit crazier than we expected as well. We knew drivers were going to be getting loose, but wow. Imperial, that's the whole idea, buddy. Back in the top 10, Cody Burke in 8th, Brian Hewitt in 9th, and CJ Jeffries in 10th. 3 cars that could very easily make it to the front, but Austin Edwards, Jesse Gordon, Stephen Hoffman, all 3 have been super fast all night. Lights go out on the pace car. They stack back up. Just over 10 to go. As we mentioned during pre-race, we'll show you again, the track is egg-shaped. 1.52 miles around this egg-shaped oval, much like Darlington, but a lot flatter, only 10 degrees of banking. Getting into turn 3 wrong can cost you your whole lap, but getting loose out of turn 2 can do the same thing. Everybody stacks back up, tightens up, gets ready for the restart. Pace car dives to pit road, and the green flag flies again. 12 to go at the line. Everybody gets rolling perfectly on the restart. Austin Edwards pulls ahead, and Hoffman now underneath Jesse Gordon for second. A few guys look like they kissed the wall out of turn 2. Everybody holds on to it. They're going to go 3 wide into 3. Austin Edwards continues to lead. Cody Burke now up into 6th, looking for 5th. Stephen Hoffman in 2nd, trying to close a half-second gap on Austin Edwards. Remember, last time Austin was in, he took right sides only. Jesse Gordon, Ryan Philbrick took 4 tires on the same stop. And Cody Burke has the freshest tires in the top 5 as he moves into 4th. Now we saw 2 epic battles between Austin Edwards and Cody Burke this past week. Will there be a repeat? Cody on those fresher tires, making his way toward the front quickly, but he has to get past Jesse Gordon in 3rd. And that was a battle we saw play out a lot last season. Cody right on Jesse's bumper. He's going to have a hard time getting past that car. And right now, Austin Edwards is loving Jesse Gordon. Austin starting to pull away even more as they battle behind. CJ Jeffries now up into 5th. He is closing in on Burke, less than a second behind. And the Dominator underneath Jesse for third. Might have even had a little body panel kiss there. Austin's lead, 0.8 of a second, now 0.9 of a second. Hoffman still sitting in second, but Burke is closing, 7 to go. David Farnan has fought his way forward quietly all night, now into 6th, closing the gap on CJ Jeffries. Richie Ragsdale having a heck of a night, currently in 8th. Chad Johnson in 9th. Scott Roney back up into the top 10. Kurt Martle caught up in that last incident, now in 11th. And Hoffman now has a mirror full of the Dominator and Jesse Gordon. And here goes Burke down to the bottom into turn 3. Austin coming to 5 to go is a 1.4 second lead over Cody Burke in second. But he has to hold on to it for another 5 laps. Burke has 4 fresh tires. They're fresher than what Austin has. And Austin only took 2 on his last stop. But now does Burke have enough time to get there as Jesse fights for third? And CJ Jeffries continues to inch closer. Austin's lead is shrinking now, 1.3 seconds. But 4 laps to go. Cody's got to gain a lot more ground. Malachi Martin has had a problem behind. No caution yet. Malachi is rolling down on the bottom, heavy damage. 3 laps to go for Austin the Goat Edwards. Cody now just 1.25 seconds behind. About 0.2 of a second faster a lap. That ain't gonna be enough. Austin sends it off into 3 and 4. He'll get 2 to go this time by. Jesse Gordon still trying to get back into third. Malachi just trying to limp his car home. Austin definitely has a little bit of tire left in that car. That gap holds at about 1.2 seconds. Burke is faster, but not enough this late. And here we go. The white flag flies one more time around for Austin the Goat Edwards. Cody Burke now just a second behind. He is sending it. He's giving it everything it's got left in it. But Austin is just 2 turns away from victory lane. He sends it off into 3 and 4 for the final time. And out of turn 4, Austin wins at Motegi. And And Cody Burke comes home in second. Austin doing his patented drift to celebrate. And everybody else I have ever seen try and steal that celebration fails miserably. The GOAT can do it in anything. Imperial, it definitely was. That one even surprised me. And for the first time ever, Stephen Hoffman is on the podium tonight. We'll get a word with our top three in just a moment. Let's take a quick look at what happened to Malachi with about 3 to go. There's Malachi coming out of turn 4. Just snaps loose. Gets a bit of a tap from behind. Smacks the inside wall. Spins around but keeps her rolling. All right, let's get a word with our top three, starting with Hoffman. Well, Steven, your first time on the podium, man, and a heck of a fight to get there.
Yeah, that was a pretty good race. I didn't know how this one was going to turn out, but we'll take a top 3 after everything.
Man, it got a little bumpy early on. You had a few close calls in there, but for the most part, the car's clean and survived to the end.
Yeah, it looks like we walked away with a 0x. It got pretty hairy there, I think around like lap 60 or so. All of us in the front took tires, and we were fighting. It was really hard to pass here, so you had to get everything you could get on the restarts. And I think we were 3, maybe looking at 4 wide there for a little bit, and I just kind of let them all go and bided my time, played a little bit of fuel strategy, and walked away with 3rd.
Well, man, it was a heck of a run, a heck of a fight, and a great job battling with 2 of the best, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, just a little too tight there in 1 and 2 there toward the end to have anything for Austin, and I think Cody had new tires. So, yeah, we'll walk away with a 3rd. Appreciate, Doug, what you do for us here with the broadcast. It's fun to go back and watch Austin, all the guys at SMR. It's awesome having a full 40-car field just about every week. So we'll see how the rest of the season goes.
All right, man. Great job, buddy. The Dominator coming home in second. That was a great race. Cody, I think you waited a little too long to take that last set of tires.
Yeah, it wasn't on purpose. I forgot to check them during that last pit stop when everyone did take them. So, I mean, I still thought there was a chance it could work out, but I needed some green flag laps, and we didn't get many there with, 27, 28 to go.
Yeah, it definitely got bumpy toward the end, and you had a few close calls coming to the front throughout the night, but managed to avoid everything tonight.
Yeah, for the most part, it was a good race. It felt like it really didn't get a chance to race for the win there, but Austin, I think he had us covered. He was doing a really good job saving tires that first run, and then I think I made a mistake when I made my first pit stop, and it just got me out of cycle, and then it was catch up for most of the night.
Well, it's definitely looking like it's going to be a lot of battles between you two throughout the season, and it'll be interesting to see if you both end up with the Cody Burke rule having to start at the back.
The way it's going right now, it doesn't look like it. I think he's going to be the only one with it.
We'll see, man. It is a great finish tonight. Congratulations, Cody.
Thank you. We'll see you next week, or the week after. I think we're off.
Yeah, we're off next week.
Soon.
And finally, our winner, Austin the GOAT Edwards. The GOAT beats the Dominator again. Wow.
You know, Doug, I'm just thankful that my pit crew happened to tune my tachometer colors for pit road speed because I didn't pay attention in school and I don't know how many kilometers I need to go 50 miles an hour for, so it all worked out.
That definitely does pay off, man. I question when you took right side tires there on your final stop. That was a gutsy call.
Yeah, you know, Doug, this whole race was one big strategy game. We were pretty low on our fuel load, so a lot of pit stops had to be taken, and me and Cody there were kind of stretching it a little thin. We pit right outside the fuel window where we wouldn't have made it to the end unless they were yellows. So, you know, there's always that little devil on your shoulder saying the race is going to go green and you're going to run out of gas, but sometimes you got to just see what you can do. And I think you get a different strategy on fuel or tires, something along those lines. And maybe I was expecting green, white checkers, but in the end, the strategy worked out. And he was running me down there at the end, so it could have been a good show. But the way the cautions laid out, it was smooth sailing to the win.
Oh, it definitely was. You two have put on quite a show over the last week. I'm looking forward to seeing Wednesday night as well. Hey, great job. No surprise seeing you victory lane, man. Congratulations.
Thanks, Doug.
Austin Edwards back in victory lane. Wow, what a race. Don't forget, it will be on YouTube in 4K later tonight, guys. Thank you all so much for being here. Hope y'all had as much fun as we did. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and YouTube. We have a ton of YouTube shorts out there to keep you laughing and entertained for pretty much the rest of your life. Hope you guys have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 7:30 for World Class Short Track Series. Have a good one, y'all.